Hey guys, welcome to the video. I'm Van and today we are going to be talking about healthy eating and more specifically the guidelines I follow to make sure I am eating healthy on a consistent basis. First thing first, we need to clarify what healthy eating means, or at least what it means for me, which is what this video will be based on. My understanding of a healthy diet is on a basic level one that provides you with all the micro and macronutrients that your body needs. This will be everything from protein, carbs, fats, as well as vitamins, minerals, and something that is not always talked about, but for me is really important, and that is fiber. What I intend to do with this video is to give you the basic formula I follow to ensure that I am eating healthy on a daily basis. The fact that there is so much information about nutrition online and it can be so dramatically different, and being something for me that I have always thought to be pretty easy and straightforward, made me want to share that way of seeing things with you guys. So finally, let's start by talking about how I structure my meals. First off on the list, fruits and vegetables. This is what I consider to be the most important thing. I know people on the carnivore diet may not agree with me, but anyways, the idea is to make sure that you are having fruits or vegetables or both at every single meal you have. This is in regards to, let's say, your 3 main meals of the day, not including any snacks or desserts or anything like that. The reason this is my number one priority is because fruits and vegetables, apart from their obvious content in vitamins and minerals and all that good stuff, they are really high in fiber. So what is this good for? Going to the bathroom, which I have struggled with in the past, and making sure this is on point has always helped a ton with that. And then the other reason is that I find it helps maintain some balance in your meals. So even if you're having, let's say, pizza or burgers or more kind of junk food, having a side of vegetables or a salad or something like that helps you not only still get all those nutrients and fiber, but that also helps fill up your stomach so that you're not over consuming other stuff. I'm not sure if this makes sense really, but anyway. Finally, I have also found, and this is just personal experience, that it not only helps me be more satisfied after that meal, but it also keeps me fuller for longer. So for example, if I had 4 pancakes, I probably wouldn't be feeling very full after that, but if I have, let's say, an orange and then maybe some yogurt, I will definitely feel fuller as I have eaten more, but I won't have a crash afterwards and I won't be starving after maybe like 2 hours. The same is true for, let's say, pizza. I could probably eat a whole pizza by myself, but if I have a salad on the side, well, maybe I'm only going to eat half of that pizza. Next comes the protein. I make sure to have a protein source with every meal. This is something that is pretty obvious to most people, and honestly I think many people overdo it. I don't really think it should be the main focus of your meals, but it is important to take it into account. I don't think we should be so paranoid as to getting everything right in every meal, but at least every day. I think healthy eating is something that compounds. Obviously, having something once a week or once a month is not really going to be enough, but you don't need to be always thinking about every little detail. Anyways, I just make sure I have some type of protein in each meal, and this could be fish, meat, eggs, dairy, legumes, things like tofu, tempeh, and yeah, pretty much anything that has a high protein content. I don't think it's really necessary to calculate the amount of protein you need in a day. We don't really need that much, and obviously if you're an athlete you're going to need a little bit more, but just keep in mind that you need to have it, and that is going to be, in my opinion, more than enough. And finally, what makes up the rest of your meal or your plate, that would be mainly a carb source or fat source, or both, depending on the diet you're following. This one, to be honest, I don't really take it into account. I don't think about it. It's just kind of a given. I found that those are kind of the most enjoyable things to eat, at least for many people, and what we also tend to overeat. So as far as the amount goes, I kind of set more or less around a third of my plate fruits or vegetables, and then a third protein, and then the rest, well, whatever I feel like having. And sometimes I won't even have any, so I'll just have the protein and the vegetables. As for the fat content, I cook with oil, so I don't really worry about that. I just try to keep it somewhat moderate, like a drizzle of olive oil on my salad or in my pan, and that's pretty much it. Some examples of what this could look like. Let's say I'm having, for example, pasta. There you have your carb source. I don't necessarily want to plan my meal based on that, so I will immediately think about what protein and what vegetables I'm going to put in it. Let's say you're making bolognese, for example. I will take the meat or meat substitute or whatever first, the amount I want to cook, then figure out how to add more vegetables, because it is usually something that is lacking in pasta. So maybe I'll make a bolognese with a lot of tomatoes. I put onion in it, carrots, maybe even celery. I've even put beetroots in it, or spinach, or even add some sauteed cherry tomatoes on top. That way my pasta with sauce will probably end up looking like half pasta and half, or even more than half, sauce made up of a bunch of vegetables and protein. The key for me here is not only to think about what you like to eat and what you feel like eating, but also obviously take into account the health part. So for example, again, let's say I want to eat hamburgers. I have the bun, so there's enough carbs there. Maybe I have the meat. Even if I put a slice of tomato and some lettuce in it, that is probably not enough vegetables. So I probably have some vegetables on the side, or maybe a salad or something like that. And now you may be wondering, well, how much of everything? This is where the key part comes in, which is being reasonable. That is what I apply to eating and cooking and all that stuff. Just don't overdo it and don't fool yourself. You know if you're eating way too much food, you know if you're not eating enough vegetables, and you probably know if your chicken is drowning in fat, I guess. Finally, I want to end this video by talking about junk food and processed food. My basic premise for that is that I kind of try to avoid it as much as possible, which means I won't actively put it in my meals. This translates in, I don't care if you want to call it the 90-10 or 80-20 or 70-30 or whatever. I focus on making my meals myself and try to cook everything from scratch at home. But if I crave something, I'll have it. If I don't have time, I'll get takeout or whatever. As long as it's not a regular thing, I don't really worry about it. Another thing is, for me, for example, I really enjoy my sweet treats, so I will have them every day. But in the grand scheme of things, if everything I eat during the day is pretty healthy, having a piece of whatever this size after lunch is not really that big of a deal. I will also probably have junk food maybe once a week, but that will only happen if I'm really craving it. So as I said before, just be reasonable. You know if you are eating healthy on a daily basis. If you have junk once in a while, it doesn't really matter. For me, health is more like a compound effect. So eating really healthy food every day will make sure that long term you will have all the nutrients you need, and having cookies or fries once in a while won't really take that away from you. And honestly, it won't make that much difference. It's more like a sprinkle up on top, not the base of things. So to sum it up, make sure you have some type of fruit or vegetable, make sure you have a protein source, try to limit the amount of junk or processed food you have, and just be reasonable. Everything in moderation, just don't fool yourself. And by the way, if you want to see what a typical day in my diet looks like, I'll link a couple of my full days of eating videos so you can check them out. And yeah, that is going to be it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give me a like and see you in the next one. So, ¿qué? Pero déjame. I didn't really think